every human is contributing to the potential and possibility of this universe. That's how big the concept of life is. That's why you were created. Why would we crave connection? Because in connection, we feel ourselves. When you're in connection with other humans, when you're in connection with the truth of yourself, you know who you are. You recognize your value in those deep connections. You feel them. And when you can't feel them, you flounder. And this is why humanity continues to suffer. But if you came for truth, joy, and love, and compassion, respect, now's the time for you to remember how to use them. To remember that those energies are not just words. They're universal aspects of who you are. That you are a part of the story itself, and it is a part of you. And when you allow yourself to recognize that truth, you will become unstoppable energy, because you will understand and recognize that the energy in you is so incredibly powerful that you will allow yourself to use it in a way that is aligned with your intention for existence. Welcome back to the Authentic Human Podcast. I'm Michelle Vickers. Today is part 52 of the story of creation. We are having live conversations with the creator and universal beings so that you can remember who you are, why you exist, what you're meant to be doing with your life, especially in these times of, unrest, right? The whole world is changing and we're not really sure what the heck is going on at any given moment or time. So for me, I just wanted to know what's going on. I wanted to know how I'm meant to deal with it, what I'm meant to be doing in spite of everything that's going on. And that's really how communication started for me about 20 years ago. And here we are now sharing the story of creation. So let's see, we've got angelics again today. And it's interesting because they're first stream angelics. So first stream are all about matter, right? They're the angelics who created physical existence. It's interesting because science doesn't want us to believe that there are actual beings who can create existence, who created matter, right? It's this this concept of, it was just there. There was a big bang and it just came into being. And the creator wants to explain that, no, it was a long and arduous process. And what he means by that is creation is a labor of love for him. Our lives, our existence, it's not just humans. Every aspect of existence was a labor of love for him. And it still is. It's never changed. He says, my love for and my curiosity for creation itself has never changed. It's why this universe came to be, because this universe is built on curiosity. It's built on possibility and potential, which are reflections of curiosity. And he says, I want to be clear, and I want you to understand that it's not just my curiosity that's being explored. It's yours. It's everyone's. from, the rabbit in the grass. Both the grass and the rabbit are exploring their potential and possibility. To, the ground that is being nurtured as a result of both of them. And you can feel it. Like they're just showing me. I'm in the middle of the mountains, and yet there's a tiny, very tiny little meadow in the middle. And the air is, and I can feel the eagles flying. And what he's saying, the sun is out, the sky is so blue. And he says all aspects of existence are a reflection of potential and possibility. It's very cool because the way they're showing me that the mountain that I'm seeing is actually, it's a very narrow peak. Like no, you couldn't climb it. And yet at the top, right at the top, at the pinnacle, it is very, very tiny. But there is a giant golden eagle perched there. And it's interesting the way they're showing me today. What he's saying is every aspect of existence is meant to collide with every other aspect of existence. And, the reason that he's using the word collide is understanding that we absorb wisdom from every aspect of existence. There is a constant stream of wisdom coming at you, but it's understanding that there's a constant stream of wisdom being created as a result of your participation in existence. So every human is contributing to the potential and possibility of this universe. That's how big the concept of life is. That's why you were created. And this goes back to a little bit about what we talked about in part 51, understanding that your natural instinct, right? We have a very strong drive to feel not only connected, but to feel purposeful. We need to feel like we're making a difference in the world. We need to feel like who we are matters. Okay? And what he's saying is, and this comes back to the angelics, and this is why they're here, it's understanding that if they didn't create matter, we wouldn't be in physical form. We wouldn't be in physical form, right? Like your arms wouldn't exist, right? The cells in your body wouldn't exist, but also the earth wouldn't exist, planets, nothing physical would exist. But it's understanding that physical representation it's an extension of energy. And this is where we are as humans, is energy is the foundation of existence. Physical aspects are an extension of energetic reality. And here's the problem. Right now, most humans are functioning on the belief that the physical reality is the foundation of existence. And this is why there's so much struggling. This is why there's so much pain and suffering and trauma. Ultimately, it's interesting the way they're showing me. It's like all of a sudden I'm like plunged into this darkness, and there's like dark water. When I say dark, like inky black, you can't even see, but we're in it. And we're in it, some of us above our knees, some of us from our waist down. We're in this thick, inky black water as a human race. And what he means by that is, when you look down energetically, you should feel your roots, the origins of who you are, what you're connected with and to, because connection is the heart of the universe, which is what we talked about in part 51. And as a result of this lack of connection, okay, it's not that we've forgotten our roots, it's that we don't even recognize that they exist. It is, and that's where that feeling of, it's like walking through, it's not even a swamp because it's so dark. It's just walking through darkness. There's no connection to anything. There's no life even around you. And so what happens is, when you are coming from that place, okay? So gosh, it's big. And you're going to have to bear with me for a minute as I work to get the words to express the energy and the feelings that they are sharing, okay? So please have patience. What they're trying to explain is the full impact of the destruction that is a result of our disconnection with our origins, okay? So when you don't know who you are, when you don't understand why you exist, when you don't recognize that you are valuable because you exist, not because of what you can do for others, but simply because you exist, right? That's where we start. That's where we're supposed to start, is understanding you're valuable simply because you exist. And when you hold that innate awareness of that value, now you can go forward and participate in a life that is going to fulfill you. When you don't understand or recognize, so here's the bigger word. They want me to use the word recognize more than understand. When you don't recognize your own value, you will always be in search of connection. You cannot come to the place where you can experience fulfillment because you haven't got the foundation of existence. And so right now, we have got, there's like 98% of the human population on Earth currently is searching for connection without even realizing that it's connection that they're craving. Why would we crave connection? Because in connection, we feel ourselves. When you're in connection with other humans, when you're in connection with the truth of yourself, you know who you are. You recognize your value in those deep connections. You feel them. And when you can't feel them, you flounder. It's like, even if you had a compass in your hand, you're still not going to know what direction you're meant to be going. And this is why humanity continues to suffer. This is also why we're sharing the story of creation with you, because we need to bring the truth of your origins back into your awareness so that you can come from a place of recognition of self. That's what this is all about. This isn't about telling you a story about how the universe was created. This is understanding that you are an integral part of the universe itself. This is your story. This is helping you understand the level of interaction that you participate in as a soul with existence itself. That's how integral you are to the entire universal experience. And this is what they want to replace in you, this wisdom. And let's face it, it's hard to accept. It's really tricky to believe that you have a level of influence over the creator and universal beings that could change anything and everything in the blink of a moment. But you do. How do you use that level of influence, that level of impact? How do you access it? Through the 9 fundamental energies of existence in this universe. Okay? If you want to know more about them, I wrote about them in Believe. Okay? But I will tell you, they're universal energies for a reason. There's love, and there's compassion, respect, balance, movement, joy, purity, truth, illumination. But here's the thing. Those are the fundamental energies, but they're like your fingers. That's how they want you to think about them. You've got respect right here, and purity over here, and truth here, and joy, and illumination. And every single one of them has an ability to offer you a deeper connection with an aspect of existence that will propel you into your own fulfillment. That's the recipe for creation. Because the creator, and he's saying, his intention was that everyone succeeds, not just him, and not just select individuals, every single human. Now, the reason this whole creation has kind of gone sideways is because we forgot our roots. We forgot our origins. But here's the thing. The origins and the roots that we continue to be taught to look for are 3D models that occurred within the last couple hundred years. Anything before that, it's not talked about. History is a collection of stories at this point on the physical plane. History is a collection of stories that paint pictures that encourage our minds to think about ourselves and history as primitive, as barbaric, destructive. And the reality is, none of it is true. None of it. That primitive behavior is a result of the corruption, the manipulation of human existence towards itself, is really how they're showing me. So there was enough humans who got poisoned, and I'm going to use that word poison because that's what they're showing me, poisoned with this mindset, this belief that it's not from here. So anything that's not from our universe is, for lack of a better term, we're going to use the word extraterrestrial. So it's extra, right? It's outside of this universe. And it's understanding that the paramount infrastructure that was brought here, okay, is a result of reptilian behavior. We've talked about them, I know. But what they want you to understand, okay, is the infrastructure that we are currently participating in, okay, is it's funny. It's like a blueprint. Like if you had a blueprint of reptilian universes and they brought that blueprint here, right? They built it there. They built it's like their house in their universe. And then they brought that blueprint and they built it here in our universe to see if we would play along. And it turns out humans are curious, exactly how we were designed. So we thought, sure, let's give it a go. And as we participated, okay, there's other beings here. We know that. There's ETs. There's all kinds of different universal beings, aliens. You can call them whatever you want. It doesn't matter. They're conscious beings and they're here. They look physically different because their existence is different than us. Okay. It's so what? Who cares? It's no big deal. We can communicate with all of them, right? All of us can communicate. Why? Because everyone communicates through energy. That's the foundation. But you forgot. You forgot because somebody decided that they were going to revolutionize communication and that the telephone was going to be created. And how many times were you maybe in school and you were taught that the telephone completely revolutionized communication? You were taught that it brought communities together. You were taught that people couldn't communicate before the telephone existed. Why do you think that is? To help you forget your roots and your origins. Because I can tell you, when tiny little humans come into this world, they know they're humans. They know they're people. They know their parents. It's instinctual. They know how to communicate. Parents know how to communicate. There are things that cannot be explained. There's experiences that you've had, even if you haven't been a parent, but in your life where you have communicated through energy. Maybe you had an experience and you escaped death. You escaped a horrible accident by chance. It's not by chance. It's because you were communicating with the energy and you saw it. You knew this is not the place I'm meant to be, or I need to stop, or I need to go, whatever it was. It's understanding that right now, why there's so much turmoil. We know their infrastructure is falling apart. We know that. Why is it falling apart though? Here's the $1,000,000 question. Why is the reptilian infrastructure falling apart? Because humans are curious. We're done. We have zero interest in continuing to suffer, in continuing to follow rules that harm us. We have no more interest in this. Our instincts are driving us to participate in our own life and existence in a different way. And we are being told no again and again and again. You can't do that. You can't do it this way. You can't say this. You can't do that. Where did these rules come from? Where did all these rules come from? Because humans are self-governing. The first stream of angelics are very prominent at this point. Humans are self-governing, which means we understand how to participate in existence in alignment with creation itself, in alignment with the vision the Creator has for this universe. So why wouldn't we be allowed to do that? Because they wanted us to forget. So they ensured there's rules. What's the best way to ensure there's rules? Take children and place them in an education system that tells them how to listen. That's all it is. Right? And all the things they learn are to ensure this illusion stands strong, right? They learn about the telephone. They learn about history. Really? What if they actually learned about the real history of human existence? Who would you be if you knew who you are as a soul? If you understood your capacity to self-heal, if you understood you were created to explore your potential, that creativity and curiosity are actually the driving forces for your own fulfillment, would your life be different? Would your life be different if you actually allowed yourself to participate in self-healing, knowing instantaneous relief was right there waiting for you? All you have to do is connect with the energy, because the energy holds all the answers that you need. Sometimes it can actually heal you itself, the energy. And sometimes the energy will show you exactly where you need to go, who you need to work with to heal. Is that not of interest to you? Because it's quite beautiful, actually. The angelics are very simple in their communication. There's no drama. And this is the first stream. So they're primal. And what he's saying is who you are not important to you? Why? Because this is the question you need to ask yourself right now. He says, I want you to feel into the truth of your own existence and ask yourself if being here to follow orders, kind of like you're in a military operation, but it's life, if that's what you came for, then your time is done. But if you came for truth, joy, and love, and compassion, respect, now's the time for you to remember how to use them. To remember that those energies are not just words. They're universal aspects of who you are. They're meant to feed your dreams, your goals, your vibrations, and every single one of your experiences. It's why you can't give up on you. It's why you get frustrated when you feel trapped, when you feel held back, when you feel like people don't see you or recognize you. It's not because they don't want to. It's because they're too busy struggling themselves. Your job right now is to let yourself recognize yourself. It's going to be tricky. It's going to be hard because your mind wants to berate. It wants to judge. It wants to eliminate obstacles. But elimination isn't part of existence. Elimination is the way he's saying it. It's a fool's errand. Elimination is wanting the easy way out. And as souls, we understand and recognize that your experiences follow a universal chain of energy, and it's a circular motion. Your experiences occur with so many moving parts for yourself, but also so that every aspect of existence that's meant to participate with you in this experience can get in. That's why it's in this circular motion. Energy doesn't move one way, like back and forth from one experience to another. That's manipulation. That's frenetic energy. It's whoa, 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 back and forth. Universal energy moves in circles. It's always been that way. It will always continue to be that way. And it is understanding that it's in those circular movements that completion exists, but also it triggers new awareness and it triggers a new experience. And that's why evolution is able to occur, because it's continuous. Your life is not from birth to death, and then it's a straight line in between. Why do you think they teach you how to look at your life on a piece of paper and put little lines that say, oh, yeah, this is what happened on my 16th birthday, and this is what happened when I turned 21, and this is what happened, I had a child when I was 25, or whatever it is. They want you to think of your lifeline in a straight line. But energy is not straight. Universal energy is not straight. Manipulation energy is straight lines. Universal energy moves in circular motions. It's not circles. It moves in circular motions. This is very strategic. It's very important. It moves in a circular motion that allows for fulfillment. Okay? Fulfillment is a journey. It's a concept. It's an intention that becomes energy. And all of these experiences in here are that energy. It strengthens the intention every single step of the way. And as you go through, you have more experiences which clarify your intention more. And then it comes to the experience. And then you create new ones as a result of what you learned inside of your experience. There's a reason when you do something and you have to do that same thing again, your brain is like, there's got to be an easier way, or there's going to be a more efficient way. And then you try it and you do it the next time. It's a little bit more efficient, a little bit different. Sometimes you tried something new and it was like, wow, that's not what I thought it was going to do. And you go back and you start again. That's the circular motion. There's a reason your brain works like that, because your brain is hardwired for fulfillment. Hardwired. Your energy is always curious. It's looking for different opportunities at every single turn. You know what that looks like and what we've been told to translate that into? Hope. But the problem with hope is hope makes you sit still and wait for it to come to you. That's not universal. Universal is having a vision of a concept you want to experience, and then you participate in it every single step of the way through that circle. Hope says, I see a vision. I'm going to wait till it happens, and I'm going to move along my straight line until it happens. And then you just get more frustrated and more frustrated and more frustrated because it's not happening. Hoping isn't going to get you anywhere. It's your participation. What is participation? Trying everything, because that's your curiosity. Your joy is a result of fulfillment. Period. That's what brings you joy. Why? Because fulfillment is what feeds the reason for existence itself. That's why the universe exists. It's why you exist. And it's why every aspect of existence exists. Water, air, every animal, every plant. We all exist for the same reason. And he wants you to begin, he as in the creator, wants you to begin remembering your place, your mark in this universe. Because as this story continues to unfold, it's understanding that you are a part of the story itself, and it is a part of you. And when you allow yourself to recognize that truth, you will become unstoppable energy, because you will understand and recognize that the energy in you is so incredibly powerful that you will allow yourself to use it in a way that is aligned with your intention for existence. Right now, the energy you're using is aligned with the manipulation blueprint that was brought here. Every rule you follow that makes you feel trapped, that makes you feel manipulated and taken advantage of, is another example of you feeding their energy. And as long as we continue to feed those that came here, we're not feeding our own self and our own truths. We're going to keep going, because more than ever before, not only do you need access to truth, you need to feel it. You need to hear that someone understands and recognizes how you feel. We're building this community step by step. It's time. I love you. And I will see you for part 53 next time. Bye for now.
No, I was just going to say something about the circular as well, because I remember another talk, you were talking about something that really spoke to me as well, about taking, all these courses and doing nothing with them, like trying this, and you're kind of going around, learning and getting certified in things you never use, but it all contributes to what you're ultimately coming to, right? So you're kind of going around the long way. I've always been told by going to see clairvoyance in that I take a windy road, right? Like I never go straight. I always kind of take the longest possible route around. And now it's all making so much sense, right?
Love that. So good.
Yeah. I don't want to take the straight line. That's too boring.
Well, and we're not meant to.
And we're not meant to.
We're not meant to, right? The straight line.
But I can see how it's easy, right? People take the easy, like it's all laid out for you, right? You're going to do this in your life, then you do this, then you have a family, then you have a job, and you do the straight line, right?
Yes.
Pay your taxes and just be a good citizen.
Be a good citizen. That's it. 100%.
Yeah. I like the circle versus the straight line, but there's also a part with the circle that kind of gets back to where it started. So I was sort of using the circle in my mind's eye as more spiraling, more open-ended, more in the curious thing.
Well, that's what they said, right? They said it comes around, but it doesn't connect back to where it was, but it does overlap where it was. So you have the full circle moment of awareness, but you're already in the next circle. Ashley, I love the part about our roots, how we don't even recognize that they even exist. That was massive. And I agree, like massive, massive. Like when they showed me, it was like ink, black water. And you look down and it's not that you can't even see them. It's that you don't even recognize that they're supposed to be there. And that is why we're suffering. Like I have goosebumps now just thinking about it again. It's so big, like so big. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this conversation and want to learn more, head on over to michellevickers.com. Join our mailing list to receive new episodes right to your inbox or apply to be a guest on the show. If this episode made you think of someone while you were listening, forward the link onto that person with a little note about why it made you think of them, because the greatest gift you can give another human is to see the beauty and purity of who they truly are. Until next time, stay curious.